So the city is showing us as members of parliament the middle finger. Can you keep your distance?
No.
Can you keep your distance? I didn't come into your space.
No.
This is Mr. Telemakis, Chief Telemakis. He's going to arrest me soon. He's from the Special Investigation Unit of the City of Cape Town. He has powers to arrest a public representative. So I'm just waiting for the arrest to happen. They were tasked to brief us in the tent, and we made arrangements only to find out that we are not allowed to go in further for security reasons. Now look, I don't pose a security risk. My face is closed. I don't bear any arms. But what I do bear is my eyes to see what's happening here, and my mouth to speak against injustices. The women are not safe. People are saying that their meds is running out, the chronic meds are running out. There is people that is on TB, IRV medicine that don't have, and also there's no health facility, health doctor on camp during the evening. So this is a ticking time bomb for all of our people. The Metro Police are feeling that they are a law unto themselves.
There's no social distancing.
Dr. Gilles Van Kutsem.
Yeah.
I work for Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah.
You're taping me?
Yes, is it okay?
It's okay. There is insufficient infection prevention and control measures in place to prevent a COVID outbreak or a TB outbreak, because there is insufficient ventilation in the tents. There is insufficient physical distancing in the tents, and you have up to 600 people grouped into one tent. That is the most important finding. The second one is that people who are grouped here many of them are extremely vulnerable. You have drug users who had to interrupt abruptly heroin use, who had withdrawal symptoms, you had alcoholics. You have severe psychiatric disorders such as schizophrenia and dementia. You had elderly, demented people, you have disabled people in here. There were two people with urinary catheters, fecal incontinence. So those people not only are at higher risk of complications and death for COVID, but they're also just have more intense healthcare needs. So, I mean, I can only say what I have heard. I have not witnessed that. I mean, we have heard that it was an alleged case of rape of a young woman, and we don't know yet whether she was 18 or 16.
Yeah.
And well, actually, when I was there, she came with South African police to identify the alleged perpetrator. So I think the matter is in court. At night, well, the last time I was here, there are no health services. I witnessed one elderly man with a urinary catheter and severe respiratory distress, and he was an asthmatic and he did not have asthma medication. And then
so clearly there wasn't adequate provisioning
for him. Not so. There are people who are not accessing it. Is it because they are not accessing the clinic? Because
how can you access the clinic if you're in a concentration camp?
Well, so we're in a closed enclosure, so you have to negotiate with the NGOs that are the service providers so that they accompany you to the medical tent. Or at night, that is much more difficult. You have to negotiate with the security staff that is standing at the entry gate, so that they call the camp management, so that the camp management calls an ambulance. And that can take, I mean, from my experience, it did take hours. The camp should be decommissioned in a phased manner. So because it is now possible that people have been exposed to COVID, so just opening the doors of the camp would be irresponsible. And preferably to smaller sites where proper healthcare and infection control can be put in place. And also,
I've got so many of my children. Yes, everybody's asking me my children. Yes, they're my children because I worked with them for 6 years. Many of them is ready to leave the street. But with the videos that I've been seeing on TV, not even live videos from people's phones. Just the sadness in their faces tells me that this place, they're not happy.
Sorry, my name's Reverend Annie Kirk. I'm with More Than Peace.
Yes.
And I'm one of the accredited monitors with the South African Human Rights Commission. But they've been really overcrowded. So
It's really overcrowded?
Yeah, well, the national regulations say we can't gather in more than 50 people at a time. But in the Haven tent, after a few days, they were at more than 600.
600 people in one tent. Just show me the Haven tent again.
You just see it poking up over the top there. So all the tents are the same size.
So that's the big tent there.
That's a big tent there, yeah.
There's 600 people. Is there separation?
So there were 600. Over the last couple of days, people have been moved into other tents to try to decant, I suppose.
Yeah.
But there's still about 350 people in there, so it's still way above the amount that there should be together. And only 2 days ago were markings put down on the floor. So when we talk to women, they say they don't feel safe here. They want separate spaces. They want the toilets for women to be they want that to be enforced, because men are still using women's toilets and showers and they don't feel safe. But we do know that there is sex being traded.
Sex being traded? Explain that.
For 20 rand. So sex is being traded for 20 rand. Cigarettes are also being traded. Yesterday, some packs were given out to people in the tents, in the Haven tent, from one of the NGOs, with lots of peanut butter and jam and some fizzy drinks, and already those are being traded with the private security for cigarettes. One could say an incubator for the disease has been created by bringing so many people together and putting them in close confinement, and there isn't a management of the regulations. I have been here late into the night when people have there's been epileptic fits. I've heard people have had seizures. I've been there when a man with a catheter, there was blood going into his catheter.
Oh dear.
He became very, very weak, and his respiratory rate was 36 when it should be 16. So I was with a doctor we asked the doctor to call an ambulance. That took several hours. He was finally taken there, treated and returned, and he did much better the next day. But there should be an on-site team who can deal with something like that immediately. I would say quite a lot of them went through withdrawal without the necessary precautions. It's a life-threatening thing to go through withdrawal from heroin. And many people they haven't had their ARVs for up to 3 weeks. Some of them were at Kulenberg before coming here, and there weren't health facilities there, so their chronic meds have run out. So making sure that everybody on chronic meds has their provision is critical, because you see people getting weaker because they're not getting their meds.
I'm not going to move until they open us and ensure that we have oversight. You know, we defied unjust laws of apartheid, and we're also going to defy this unjust city that don't care for our people. Clearly the doctors have given their reports, and so what we need to do is a multi-party approach where we decommission this camp. It's a nice word for saying that this camp must be closed. The Human Rights Commission asked for independent doctors to come and investigate, and they were going to brief a multi-party platform. So ANC, ACDP, GOOD, EFF, DA, all of us were invited to come here. The DA people declined. We made arrangement with the city, with Dan Plato, the mayor, apparent mayor. He agreed with Reverend Chris to host us here. We were all told to be here at 2 o'clock. So no one takes the responsibility, but they don't want us to come in. Then I forced myself in. I came in, I walked in, I rushed in, and no one dared respond. Command must be taken away from securocrats. We're not in a concentration camp. These people didn't do anything wrong. This is grounds for both JP Smith and the mayor to be charged. The president, you must investigate this thing, because President Ramaphosa, we must, just like you have sanctioned us as public reps if we did wrong, and one of our executive members have been sanctioned, we must also maybe investigate if this is not criminal negligence. We need to charge the city and JP Smith and all of the leadership of the city for making this a pandemic hotbed.
That JP Smith is a law unto himself. He does not even allow their own councillors.
Minister Becky Cele, and Minister Noziviwe Akula, you're the Minister of Defense and our National Command. Please come take over this place, because it's just a house of horrors. The city of Cape Town is deliberately undermining you, President Cyril Ramaphosa. When you put money down and say food parcels must be given to everybody, they do it in a partisan way. When you say that we must enforce the regulations, they try to interpret it in a different way. They think that this Cape Town is a republic on their own. So therefore, we are calling on you, President, to help us to ensure that everybody abides by the rules, and there's not one set of rules for Cape Town and another set of rules for the country.